Good morning, everybody. If you can put in the chat if you can hear me well, at least see the disclaimer. Good morning. Thank you, everybody. Thank you. Audio is good. Just give it a few moments. If you can like the video, I would appreciate that, just so I can get into the algorithm or however YouTube works. I'm going to let more people kind of pour in here before we get started. About 10 minutes till the open, so hope you all are doing well, having a good morning. Today is the day before CPI, so I don't have large expectations for the session in general. Yesterday I was unable to live stream, which yesterday was really clean price action. So unfortunately I was not able to attend that. I did a review over it last night on the YouTube channel. Good morning, Emmanuel. Good morning, Chromebook. Maz. I'm not sure if that's the same. If you're the same guy that I was talking to last year. Let me know if you are. Seems a familiar name. That is you. Good to see you, bro. I haven't heard from you in a while. That's alright, Bruno. It'll all be recorded. Good morning, Shay. Good morning, Carl. Or afternoon, wherever you're located. Yeah, I'm happy to be streaming. It's a lot of fun so far. Yeah, crypto. Not charging anything. Just give it a few more moments, probably about a minute here, and then I'm gonna switch over to the charts. So, thank you for your patience. Just read the disclaimer. Yes. Good morning, Jazz. Gordon. Thank you. Let's see if we can get to 50 viewers before I start the live stream. 41. Let's check Twitter real quick. Jazz, thank you. You're a huge supporter of me, which I really do appreciate. Sure. But if you've been watching today, as I just discussed, if you just came in, today is a day before CPI, which is a major news event driver. And typically the day before CPI, FOMC, NFP, all those major events, price can be a little bit stale or fickle the day before. And that's just due to either just building up liquidity, not giving clear direction. So you have to be aware of days like this. and I'm already looking at price as is, and it doesn't seem extremely high probability. I can't see a super clear direction. Of course, with the idea of the stream, it is the silver bullet session. So I'm going to exercise the discipline of waiting for the silver bullet window to look for a trade and to execute a trade and to participate inside of the market. So that's really what I'm going to be pushing in these live streams, is exercising that discipline to sit that first 30 minutes watching price action, not doing anything and just observing. And I know it could be very difficult even for a newer student to just sit and do nothing in the first 30 minutes. But if you do exercise that discipline, it can be very, very beneficial to you. Let me see. I think everything's good. We are at 56, so I'll go ahead and start it. And then once I start it, just let me know if you can see everything clearly. Yeah, of course, Chromebook. Khalil. I mean, that's a bunch of different factors. That's based on a whole set of variables. That's the point of the live streams. A lot of the questions that get asked, for the most part, can be answered if you just kind of wait over several days, weeks, and months, and eventually your questions will be answered. And this went for me as well. I mean, I've had so many questions that I just kind of delayed, and eventually they get answered through just watching, content. So I know if you have a lot of questions, I'm not going to be really paying attention so much to the chat as far as answering questions when the session starts. I want to be focusing on the charts, but in general, just kind of a tip with learning these concepts or trading in general. Either A, try to figure out the question yourself. I know that sucks to say, but it will actually really help you if you dig in and do the work. For the most part, the answer is always somewhere. Or two, over time, eventually you're going to find it. Exactly, Chromebook. I mean, that's what I'm really going to try to teach through these live streams is we're going to sit through the first 30-minute window, and it may suck and may be aggravating that, I'm missing these setups, and you're going to see a lot of moves unfolding just like Monday. But as I talked about with Monday versus like yesterday, the rules and disciplines that you have and you exercise, there's always pros and cons to either of them. And Monday, for an example, the first 30-minute window, it expanded a lot. And if you elected only to trade the silver bullet, well then, you missed that good chunk of the move. But looking at yesterday, if you only elected to trade the silver bullet, you missed out on really sloppy price action for the first 30 minutes. So there's always pros and cons to everything. And you just have to draw the line in the sand and say, you know what, I'm going to elect to choose to do this. I'm only going to do this. I'm going to follow this rule set. Because if you start jumping around and start coloring outside the lines, that's when you start making errors, and that's when you can't really track your data. You can't track how well you're doing. So I make it a very important keynote to consistently follow rules consistently. That way you can figure out what you're doing right and wrong. We have about 3 minutes until the open. I forgot I have the charts on the screen. Everything looks good though. I think, Maz, thank you for that. So looking at, in general, price action today, if we look at the daily time frame here, we are inside of this premium SIBI here with a bearish breaker. And I've talked about the last 2 days, or 3 days, how the weekly time frame is the parent. We're inside of a weekly BISI. And this is superseding the daily time frame. So I'm not electing to automatically go short in here or look for bearish bias because the weekly and the monthly are the parent. and they're both bullish. So it's just something that may be a speed bump. It may allow price to be basically give it a retracement. Looking even at the 4-hour, we have a small fair value gap resting underneath the price here. Doesn't necessarily need to retrace into it before expanding higher. Even the 1-hour, if you look to the left of us, we retraced up into this premium SIBI last night. Displacement lower, back down into reclaimed fair value gap here. You can see we have London session low, London session high. I'm anticipating with the open, we're probably going to take out the sell side liquidity in here. That's really what I'm leaning towards in the first probably 15, 30 minutes. And if we don't, that's fine. I'm not trading the first 30-minute window anyways. So let's just go ahead and watch the open. We just opened up. I'm going to go ahead and do a side-by-side here. So I have a 5-minute time frame on the left and a 15 on the right. So there's a few things today that I'm going to be watching and being aware of, as I just discussed. That higher time frame daily SIBI and the day before CPI. There's a few things that are on my mind today. So I would observe, to make note as well, let me pop over to dollar index. It's kind of just stagnant, hasn't really done much. We're just kind of inside of the same range all week. I would anticipate lower prices with dollar on the weekly time frame, fair value gap and order block. The order flows is really bearish to me, so we'll just have to see. My concern today is not getting caught inside of consolidation or seek and destroy, due to the fact that it's the day before CPI. It's really something that I don't want to be caught up in. So let me go down into, I'm going to put a 1-minute chart here. Some relative equal highs there that we're taking out. You see how we failed to take out the low here. If you look at YM made a higher low in here. So that's a bullish SMT divergence. So I'm going to mark out a couple buy-side liquidity pools that are resting above price. So the narrative, or at least the underlying bias for me today, is I want to look for higher prices. I have to look for support, for evidence for that. I don't really want to short today, but if it turns out to be that way, then obviously I will adjust with order flow. So if we start closing above on the 15-minute time frame, any of these SIBIs in here, that will turn into a inversion level. You can see we're up inside of a bearish order block and fair value gap here. And for me, there should be no fear. There should be no fear of me missing out on a move, or me trying to chase this, because I know my rule set. I'm waiting for the silver bullet. So train yourself and exercise the discipline to sit in the first 30-minute window. There's a lot of energy, there's a lot of excitement. Just sit with it. You don't have to act. You don't have to do anything. If you know your model and you know the profits, or at least you know the strategy works over a long period of time, then there's no fear. I don't have to do anything, right? How did I get the candle on the right? It's just an indicator. It's called ICT, higher time frame candles. I just personally only really have like one candle on there because I like to make sure I'm looking at the higher time frames, especially the daily, if I forget to kind of go back. If we take a look at YM is a little bit stronger than ES and NQ. ES is kind of taken off as well. It looks like ES wants to get above its buy side liquidity pool, which it just did. So does NQ want to follow suit with ES and YM? And the reason why I like the silver bullet so much is because the first 30-minute window, it can kind of give unclear signals of direction and price. And by the time the silver bullet comes, really the real move is unfolding for the most part. Not always, but it gives me a lot more confidence that when I'm going to enter into the market during the silver bullet, that I'm comfortable that this is probably the real move and we're probably going to a real drawn liquidity. Sometimes the first 30-minute window can be manipulation, printing SMTs, etc. So if you miss a move and you followed your discipline, it is what it is, right? I actually might play some music today. I've made a note to self to concentrate a little bit more on less talking and just focusing on the charts as much as I can during these live streams. Really what I'm observing currently is how we're trading up inside of this premium here and inside of this bearish PD array. If you toggle electronic trading hours and go to regular trading hours, you can see the RTH gap from today. So there's a small one underneath price. So this is where we closed yesterday, and this is where we opened today. So just make note of that. I'm going to have it kind of in the back of my mind. Why do I have my time zone? Because that is my time zone. I'm just more comfortable with putting it at Central Time. So all of these levels here, we have buy side liquidity pool, above price there. And it's okay that there's relative equal lows underneath us. I mentioned before, if there's SMT and there's already a higher time frame order flow to it, you don't always need to take out sell side liquidity. We've already taken out internal. That would just be an external liquidity pool. I'm looking at this inefficiency here. that we're inside of currently. So if we get above this inefficiency, we close above it, that would be a pretty good sign to me that we'd at least possibly want to continue higher. But this is why waiting for closes of candles, especially higher time frame, is very, very key. So we're still inside of a premium, inside of 2 bearish PD rays in here. And this could just simply be a Judah during the first 30-minute window, and we drop it lower. Let me see here. I may play some music. Let me know if you can hear it. This is going to be like a chill music. I'm going to try to not make it too loud. So let me know if that's too loud. So you can see here, as I just discussed, price went above, or got into that Sibian here, and we displaced lower. Music level is good, too low. Well, I need a third opinion. It's good, okay. So I still like to be able to hear myself when I do talk. Well, I'll tell you what, I like where the level is at, so I'm going to keep it there. Yeah, I have both parties saying it's good and bad, so I'm sure I'll take my own opinion. It's my live stream, right? I get to do what I want. If you guys didn't know, I'm a certified comedian. So what I'm watching right now is we're stuck inside between 2 PD rays here, and I could see both sides. I'm going to elect to believe we're going to continue higher, just based off of the things I'm looking at. So we're inside of that fair value gap here. If we close above the SIBI, that'd be a really good sign, because we could treat that as an inversion and then look for higher prices in here. Yeah, Wolf, you would be correct. I mean, Power 3 can be tricky, because sometimes it can set the low of the day, or at least get near the low of the day multiple times, or even the high of the day. When you're really not in a clear, like one-sided direction, Power 3 can be tricky, because it can go back and forth on that high of day or low of the day, and it can set it multiple times, like you've seen here. Like overnight, we set it once, basically got close to it again. So Power 3 can be tricky. It just depends the way you utilize it. I know we've talked about it on Twitter before, especially with the silver bullet. Just keep observing the phenomenon. It's not an end-all be-all. I'm looking at the 2-minute here. So it came down into here, reclaimed. I think we're going to expand, try to attack the buy side here. And you see I'm not FOMOing. I'm not rushing to get into price. Why? Because I'm waiting for the silver bullet. Because it protects me. I could be completely wrong. Do I favor the upside? Yes, but I'm going to wait for my rules. So another kind of contradicting factor to me today in order to be looking for really strong bullish prices is dollar index. And I'm not getting the supporting idea that dollar wants to continue lower. Because if we're going to go higher in index futures, we would need lower dollar. And I see higher prices in dollar. So and we're kind of getting that out of dollar currently. We're expanding higher. You see we're dropping lower in here. I did turn up the music, so. So we do have relative equal lows resting beneath price. So if we do want to drop lower in here, we could aim for the sell side. So if we have an energetic displacement towards these lows in here, that'd be pretty favorable. We could utilize this 1 minute as an inversion. So I'm already gonna kind of predict that. It doesn't automatically mean that, but I'm gonna go off the assumption that we're gonna close beneath this. Yeah, I favor sell side. And what would confirm that to me? I favor it currently, but having a nice displacement lower breaking underneath this bullish PD rate, it's not yet an inversion. We have to close beneath it, but once we do, it's a pretty strong signal. I would be looking for the sell side here, and then lower 15-minute time frame CE of that wick there. So another thing as well, what I'm waiting for is I would like a close underneath this inversion, or underneath this busy, because right now it's bullish, right? And even the 5 minute, if we can get a displacement through that, and even closing underneath the 1 minute, that's a really good sign. Music's good, right? It's not too loud. Yeah, exactly. A7, I was about to say that. There is a macro that's about to unfold. Okay, good. Good to hear. So what I'm doing right now is I'm waiting. I can't guess, I can't assume I favor downside, but I have to wait for that confirmation, which we're getting right now. So I'm waiting for that break. So we got that. So I'm gonna see, can we form a fair value gap in here? It may attack sell side before we get to it. And I just have to be patient, wait for discipline. Just want to see in the next, I'm going to give it 30 seconds, do we form a fair value gap in here? Yeah, the macro in full effect, right? I'm going to set a sell limit here. I'm going to be entering off of a different platform if we get up into that fair value gap. So this one in here, just looking for a slight IOFED on it. If we don't get up into it, then you don't enter into the market. So it would go above that high there. Okay. If you hear some noises, that's my other platform I'm entering off of. I really don't want to see it even trade to the CE of that fair value gap in here. Can we target the relative equal lows in here? So if you have like multiple contracts, you could pull some partials off underneath the relative equal lows in here. And if you want to go for a little bit longer, you can hold on to it. Just depends on your style. If you just want to go for a short-term scalp, it's perfectly fine too. Let's see if we can get underneath this candle and close underneath it. Can we just continuously keep expanding towards the sell side in here? Remember, I was looking for the C of this wick here as well. From here, I really just want to see price dig into that sell side. I'm just kind of registered in the back of my head. RTH gap is probably somewhere in here as well. Remember that from earlier.
What's going on? I'd like to welcome you out tonight to club, get down, you dig. We want you to enjoy yourselves, have a good time. Now I understand you could have been anywhere in the world, but tonight you're here with us.
Is it Gordon? I think we went
So sound
probably beneath it. And then now we're,
turn that shit up.
let me just do it for, yeah, okay, so it's above us. That's good.
Yeah.
Utilize that.
Now by chance you done snuck up in here.
Very shorter block there.
Expecting to hear anything else other than house music?
So from here, I really want to, I don't want to see it come back into this fair value gap. It wouldn't be a great sign, but
Now I understand
I would
you could
allow
have
it.
been anywhere in the world,
I'd rather just
getting your groove
drop
on.
it in the sell side here.
But tonight, you're here with us. And that's what's up. It's a groove thing. So go and do your thing. It's a groove thing. Get up and do your thing. You know it's a groove thing. Let the record bang. It's a groove thing. Now move your thing. Yeah. You know this one of them straight grooves that makes you move. Close your eyes and say ooh. You feel me? Yeah. Now we understand.
So I'll allow it to come back into this 1 minute, but
Anywhere in the world,
I'm gonna need to see a rejection away from it.
shining bright. And that's what's up. But you're here with us. It's a groove thing.
Thank you, Gordon.
So go and do your thing. It's a groove thing.
I do move my stop loss, but I'm not gonna choke my stop loss or or suffocate it too quickly, because we may come back into the fair value gap like we're doing now as a reclaimed area. It was too early for me to really take any partials or profits, so I'm leaving it on. So there's a 2 minute here. Basically from here it needs to reject. Yeah, that's alright at A7. I mean, that's, you know, whatever your style is. If you just want to go for short-term little scalps, I mean, hey, it's all good. So from here, I really need to see a heavy rejection level. We're now inside of the silver bullet. I don't like the 15-minute closure, to be honest with you. But this is where just paying your stop loss to do its job, paying your take profit to do its job. You put on the trade, the idea is still valid. I'm not going to change anything. Go out to a 5 minute real quick. Small little 5 minute in there. So the 15 minute, I would need it to basically overlap this entire wick. It would need to get underneath that low. Otherwise, it's a pretty strong rejection away from that low. The day before CPI, things can get a little weird. So I'm just looking for a short-term scalp. I'm trying to get underneath these lows and be done for the day, to be honest. I would want to make it snappy, make it quick here.
Let the music take control.
So from here, I don't want to see any return back to that fair value gap, because we've gone into it once, twice, rejection away from it. Okay, well there's that. We'll take it. Again, I'm not gonna hold out for anything longer. Yeah, that's trading for you. I don't really have anything to say about it. It's pretty normal. Enter, exit. And that's how trading should be. I mean, I'm not jumping up and down and screaming. It's just business as usual. We do this every day, and we use the insights and the things that we've been given, and that's it. So hopefully that was a good overview to how to enter into the market and to find a trade. Yeah, thank you for the W's. I mean, I could be like one of those Twitch streamers screaming W in the chat or whatever. But I'm pretty much numb to all of this. I know for a new student, I probably should be really excited to show you guys, like, you know, stuff's really cool, but it's very nonchalant now. It's very casual. For those who are wondering, maybe I can put it in the chat. The music.
Let the music take control.
So that's the YouTube or the playlist. I've been trading for 6 years now. I just came up on it this month. I've been studying ICT probably close to 4 now. So it's a long journey. You really gotta grind. I know I may
And let the music take control.
make it look easy, or this is super chill, but this is years and years and years of taking a lot of losses, a lot of discipline, a lot of rules and things following, and a lot of work behind the scenes to get to this point. I'm nowhere even near perfect, right? As far as the rest of the day, I think it's saying it's running ads, so I'm not sure if y'all are here with me or not. Premium, yeah. Yeah, I really like this playlist. It's really good. I'm happy that I went with the music today, because last live stream I just felt not in the zone. Music really puts me in the zone and chills me out. Do I do one-on-one coaching? No, I do not. Yeah, that's good. I'm gonna call you Romer. That's exactly how you should be doing is demoing, tape reading, working on your psychology, and then maybe, slowly moving into a prop firm. Christopher, yeah, I know. I've discussed this many times on Twitter. I mean, eventually the masses will see. I mean, I hate to boost my own ego, but I mean, truly, when I look at the chessboard and the people who do live stream and put out content, I mean, I only say it because I think a lot of people could really utilize this type of teaching. I mean, I know I could have. I mean, I don't see many other people teaching like this or live streaming like this. I know there's one other person, I think Tanya Trades. I mean, she's cool. I mean, I've been with ICT for, like I said, close to 4 years now, and trading for 6. I mean, I have a lot of experience underneath my belt that I can explain to you guys. I mean, it's one thing we could know these same concepts, but there's a difference between using these concepts for a longer period of time versus just knowing these concepts. And again, I'm really not trying to be egotistical or bragging. It's just, I guess it's just simply facts. Yeah, I'll see you the next session. You can see here, this reason why I was just going for a short-term scalp today is because we got underneath the sell side liquidity, and with CPI ahead of us, and things are not completely in sync. Like Dow is very fickle. It's very weird. Same with ES. It got above its high while NQ didn't. So just looking for a short-term scalp is really the best option in these environments. If it was more of a trending day and I could see a long-term pull out of today, then I would have just pulled a partial and I would have moved my stops to break even and I would have trailed it and just kept going. But it's one of those situations where if I can just get a short-term scalp in, get out, then that's really all I need. Thank you, Cody. It seems like everybody's enjoying the music, which I am as well. I just kind of found it today. It's called soft chill house music. Cody, you're an OG, so I love you, buddy. Yeah, well, let me just kind of analyze. I mean, I'm not going to do anything else the rest of the day. I'm probably going to sit on here for another, I don't know, 20, 30 minutes. PM might be bad right now. Yeah, I typically really don't like PM session. I think there is certain conditions that PM session will be fruitful, but I don't like the PM session. I think it could be a lot harder to read sometimes than the AM. And that's just personal, right? Is my name Carl Johnson? No, it's Caleb Jones. Do you go to any specific times live? Do you go to any specific times live? If you could clarify what that means. Yeah, I do too, Shay. Hopefully, if we do grow in numbers, there's not any spams or drama or anything. I cannot stand drama. I'll block everybody on Twitter that even says anything in terms of drama or trying to get that out of me. I just immediately block them. You know, many people have asked me if I'm ICT's son, just because I have the same name. It's actually kind of crazy, which I'm not. Well, I'm live every single day so far, or at least I'm trying to in the AM session. Silver Bullet, that's what I'm doing. Okay, let me stop looking at chat here. So do you see this wick in here? This last up close candle, that's a rejection block. Rejection blocks are a little bit tricky to learn, at least in my opinion. They were hard to learn. I finally kind of got the grasp of them last year, but really just paying attention to wicks are really, really important. The close or the open, the mean threshold, the CE of it, and then the discount of wicks are really, really important. So we just hit that. If you look at YM, for those, maybe this will be a good lesson, because I get so many questions on SMT, and I think SMT is really easy. I don't know why people really overcomplicate it. But I have 4 monitors. One is to my right, which is horizontal, so it's a little bit bigger than this setup here. But I have ES at the top, I have NQ, and then I have YM at the bottom. So look at the lows in here. We have ES printing a higher low. So you see how this low here, where ES is, and NQ made a lower low, right? YM did not make a lower low. So that's a bullish SMT. A bullish or bearish SMT is 2 of them are doing one. Either they're making higher highs, higher lows, or lower highs, and one is making a different one. So these are both making higher lows. This made a lower low, right? So SMT is just a confluence. It's a signal to help you in confluence with whatever you're looking at. It's not an end-all be-all, but it is something I'm constantly paying attention to. And then I'm looking at the correlation between them, because there's things such as decoupled, where if one market is completely doing something way different than the others, that's not a good sign. Where did my other tab go? I, for some reason, lost. Oh, there it is. Somehow got to this monitor. So hopefully it makes sense as far as SMT for those who don't know, but it's something I'm constantly referring to and looking at. Dollar index is doing nothing, which is fine. Sometimes dollar can stay inside of consolidation while index futures are allowed to move. Yeah, Gordon, that's so with SMT, like let's say you're going into the session today with a bullish idea, right? And then you see a bullish SMT printed. SMT is letting you know which one is the strongest or the weakest out of them. So the fact that NQ is making that lower low in here, it's taking out sell side liquidity. You can see it's the strongest out of them currently. All of them will be bullish, right? If a SMT is valid, all of them will be bullish. But one of them is going to be the strongest out of the three or the weakest out of the three, whichever one is not in tangent with the other two, right? And you have to use it as a confluence. You have to use it as something where you're understanding that I was already conceiving the idea that it was already bullish, and that it's printing that, it's confirming that to me, and then you'll see your model form. So for an example, today on the trade that I took, look at the SMT. So today, before this bullish SMT got printed, look at the bearish SMT that was printed. So you have ES making a higher high, you have NQ making a lower high in here, and you had YM making a higher high. So by the time I was already looking for sell side liquidity, it was confirming to me that, okay, NQ is going to be the weakest. It failed to make the higher high. It was dropping lower, and then I saw the 1 minute fair value gap form, and I was looking to enter to target the sell side liquidity. So that was already confirming the idea that I already had in my mind, if that makes sense. Music's a little loud for me, to be honest. Let's see here. But let's just kind of analyze the rest of the session here. Like I said, once I take my trade, I'm done. I don't need to go back into the market, even if I can predict where price is going to go. I already did my work. Why would I strain myself more and do more work than is needed? If I wasn't doing live streaming, I'd turn off my computer and I'd go to the gym. That's it. I don't need to do anything else, right? So, but just for the sake of the live stream and providing value and answering questions, I'm going to stay on here. At this point, if I was to really be bullish on this, I'd personally need probably a close above this high here. The reason for that is CPI is ahead of us. Sorry, Henry. You mentioned your videos and your highlights. Those are my daily logs. So I posted them, or I currently do, on YouTube. And my daily logs are a review over price action every day and teachings inside of them every single day. I don't do clickbait titles. I don't do clickbait things to, I just simply review price, and I include very good teachings. And this is what ICT did for us in the private mentorship group, is every single day he would sit down with us in price, and he would review price and then let us know where he thought price is going to head to next. And what happens over time is, if you listen to somebody that has experience in time with these concepts, you begin to start seeing a pattern recognition where, what price is doing. Obviously, there's huge teachings in those lessons every single day. And then you get to see where the market is going to head to next. And you get that idea every single day. I think it's the most underrated style of teaching. Nobody else does that. Nobody. I mean, I don't want to say nobody. It's super egotistical, but there's a very few people that do that type of style of teaching, because it doesn't get a lot of views. People don't want to put in the work to watch the videos and take notes on it. But I'm just replicating what ICT did for us, because it works. It's a style that works, right? Rather than me saying, on YouTube, all right, here's an inversion fair value gap, let me do a video over it. Here's a video over fair value gaps. Why would I do that? I could simply do a daily log every single day and tell you, okay, this is what we utilized today. I'm showing you how we utilized an inversion or a breaker, fair value gap, etc. Was that the 20? I mean, that's basically all of ICT's mentorship was. You had the core content, you had the charter member models that he's releasing, and then every day he would post a video. I mean, people think it was easy, man. He would post 2, 3, 4 hour videos every day, and you had to sit down and watch them and take notes. And but that's what you had to do if you want to be, successful. If appropriate, is there anything you could say about the 1050 to 1110 macro? I mean, it's a macro in time, and if something is paired with it, it's going to spool towards a draw on liquidity, just like we did today, the earlier macro. Yeah, appreciate you guys. I mean, if I never, get super popular, I never get a bunch of views, it is what it is. I appreciate the people that want to put in the work and actually trade, because I have some really good people that I've mentored before, and I would rather have a few people that are really, really into this and really want to work and be successful versus thousands of people that just kind of want to do it. And, they're just kind of here and there with it. I would rather just take 5 people that are really dedicated to this over thousands, to be honest. Excuse me. CJ, we have a bullish breaker at 9:59 on the 1 minute, but there is a bullish wick at 10:10. Does this wick invalidate the breaker? I'll have to go back and look at it. You talking about this wick here? No, it's this. This is that's the breaker. We cut through candles, and if you look on 1 minute, you see how we got above the inversion, or we got above the SIBI. Now this is acting as an inversion. But to me, as I talked about before, I'm looking at the 5 minute structure. We haven't closed above an old high yet, so it may be a premature long. We did just take out sell side, we displaced higher. On a 1 minute, we have a shift in market structure, but not yet on a 5 minute. And knowing with CPI ahead of us, I just don't know if we're going to get this large expansion higher. I don't know if we're going to just expand out of here. It may just be very consolidational, sideways movement today. So you have to be aware of these other time frames. That's why not getting solely focused on a 1 minute is it's really, really key. It's the reason why you see me scanning back and forth between all of these. Wolf, it's I totally understand, man. That's exactly where I've been before. You just have to keep pressing. It sucks to say, like, just show up every single day. Keep showing up every day. Keep showing up, even if you've been through, loss after loss after week and week of losses and months and years. I mean, I've been through years of being unprofitable, and I just kept pressing. I kept pressing. As long as you never give up on this, you're going to become successful. As long as you're putting in the right work. You have to make sure you're doing the right things. Make sure you're doing that. But if you are, and you're doing the right things, even though it may not show that in your bank account, eventually you're going to get there. You just have to keep pressing through everything. It's not easy. This is not meant to be easy. ICT made it the easiest it's ever been, but it's still extremely difficult. Leonardo, good to see you, brother. Good to see another fellow charter member. Thank you, Henry. Do the macros work as well in Forex? I believe so, yes. I want to say yes, but ICT's only taught them strictly on index futures, so. But do you see how what we just talked about? We haven't yet closed above that old high, so it may have just gone up into a premium to drop lower. If I had to trade this, there was a gun to my head, I wouldn't do anything. And that sounds stupid, but like, if I was forced to analyze this market and call a side, I would have to wait for more information. Um, I guess that's a good lesson, is like, sometimes my fair value gaps work, sometimes they don't. Any PD array, there's so much to it that you have to be analyzing. You have to be looking at so many different variables in real time and making sure you're on point, which is SMT, dollar index, higher time frame context, time of the week, economic news driver events, or the calendar. Look at what's ahead of us, CPI. What's the characteristics around that? Typically, the day before, it's very consolidational, seek and destroy. So I'm not going to be surprised if today is very, very much like that. Yeah, that last time close candle is an order block, but is it truly an order block? There's a fair value gap here. And if you feel FOMO, right, like let's say, man, I don't want to miss this entry down here to be bullish, but you have that kind of back of the idea, like I just discussed, well, it could possibly turn bearish, then just wait. Wait for a displacement higher. Wait for it, if it even to break above this old high. We have so many tools in our, I guess, our tool shed to enter into the market again if it really was bullish. You may not get that full movement like you're looking for, but at least you're protecting yourself. You're waiting for more information to come into the market. You're not prematurely FOMOing into the market. On the expansion leg, on the lower time frame, for example, the 1 minute we just had, do you use the bodies or wicks when using the fib? I use wicks. I rarely ever use bodies. I think if you're talking like this, right? If you want to do standard deviations, like let's say for fib projections, you do from this inverse swing. You do from this, basically this breaker in here. You see -1s above the buy side, -1.5, -2s up here. Yeah, I mean, I traded Euro and particularly really just Euro. My earlier days I was trading like NZD, USD, and some New Zealand pairs. I traded Forex for like 3 years, 4 years almost. I was trading it last year in 2023 for a while. I love Forex. I got no issue with it. And if you're inside of a futures prop firm, you can still trade a futures Euro contract, which is 6E. So from here, excuse me, my voice is going out. Can we get a strong confirmation that it wants to expand higher? No, I mean, why would it be a waste, man? Everything that you learn is never a waste. The algorithm is the same everywhere. Besides maybe a couple time intervals, it's the exact same thing. You're doing the exact same thing. The only difference with futures compared to Forex is just a little bit more, I would say, professional, because you don't have spread. And if you're entering the market, especially when you get up into higher volumes of money, brokers can't reach out, grab your stop loss, open up the spread on you, 2, 3, 4, 5 pips. There's no spread in here. There's just commission. So in that case, I really do enjoy futures. I enjoy the time. I enjoy the open. I enjoy the silver bullet more. So that's just personal. Thank you, Sebastian. For those who weren't here, we've already taken a trade today, which is here. I guess I'll leave that on. You can see the inversion. We're respecting it. Look at the bodies. Breaker. Expanded higher. We have the bullish SMT taking out sell side liquidity. 5 minute for value gap here. Buy side liquidity here. can I show any empirical evidence? I'm not going to get into this discussion. Just study the charts. Go into the charts yourself and look at the way ICT teaches and the concepts that he says. Everything that he states to go into the charts and look for it yourself. So I'm going to be looking for it. If we can dig up into that buy side there. $2:30 a.m. Jeez almighty. So we can reach up into that buy side there. Let me see how there's a bullish order block there as well. Wolf. This is a pretty good example, I guess, of the silver bullet PO3. Look at the open, right? If you're coming into the silver bullet hour and you're just looking at power 3 and you're trying to, you know, at least figure out what that is. Where is my box? You can see we set the low, so manipulation here, and then we're expanding higher. So if you're already preconceiving that idea coming into the session, I think it's a pretty good study there. Guys, just don't give it any attention. I mean, I don't really mind it. It's a general question, but I mean, yeah, Trader Sumo. I mean, bro, there's so much proof out there. I mean, to state that is a wild accusation, because just go to JadeCap. There's so many profitable ICT traders, including myself. You can look at these people. Like JadeCap's withdrawn $1.2 million from prop firms from these concepts. So if you don't believe anybody, go to JadeCap. That dude is a real G. Like, that dude is somebody I look up to and I aspire to be. So again, you can get rich with any concepts, man. Like, we're not gonna sit here. I'm not somebody to sit here and say that this is the, you know, end all be all. You can get rich with anything. I've traded trend lines, I've traded harmonic patterns, I've traded anything. Yes, JadeCap. You got it correct, Sumo. Look him up on YouTube, look him up on Twitter. Dude's a beast, man. If you need proof and evidence of it, look him up, man. He's fantastic. So can we reach towards the buy side here? So these consecutive last unclosed candles are the bullish order block as well. You see, we just touched it there. I forgot to notate there's a small fair value gap there. So inside of the inversion and the breaker, also fair value gap there. Expand away from it. Yes, Julian, I use EdgeWonk. Thank you, Chase. Romer? No, I don't actually. I trade challenges a bit different. I trade them more aggressive, just because I know myself. I can pass a prop firm challenge, then I can just chill out on the live. I don't treat them the same. I might be mistaken. The last FHE you drew isn't in the silver bullet strategy. I'm not sure which one you're talking about, but it doesn't have to. You can utilize anything outside of the silver bullet. It's just silver bullet is a time window where it's more favorable, right? But just because this Sibi is before the silver bullet, you can still utilize it. We did in here. No, the FEG does not have to be inside of the window. You can utilize other PD arrays, of course, outside of the window. It's just that window is just a time to look for the market to move to a certain draw on liquidity. Oh, Wolf, I mean, if I had to enter, like I said, I'm already done for the day, but if we're going off that idea that if I'm waiting for the closure above here, which, I mean, already in here, you could have went off of that bullish order block in here to target the buy side, but let's just say if we waited for that idea, we waited for the closure above that, then we'll just see what prints. I can't say directly, you know, obviously what I'm going to enter off of because it's not there yet, so just have to wait. I'm going to scan out to a 15-minute real quick. So it's important to note where we're at least on the 15-minute time frame. Side of that premium and side of the fair value gap here. And you can see prices, it's a bit fickle today, meaning it's just back and forth a lot, and that's due to what we have in front of us. It's the reason why I'm not trying to call for long runs on price. Day before CPI can be really, really difficult to trade. So if you can just get in and out with the short-term scalp, and that's all you need a day before something like CPI. I wouldn't enjoy anything in here. I mean, you could have got the short-term scalp. We've made relative equal highs in here, but this structure in here is not favorable to me. I'm sorry, Julian. I'm trying to look at the chat as much as I can. I know you've asked about win rate ratio. I mean, every month and week is going to be a little bit different. I mean, I'm right around 75% like win rate, but as far as risk to reward ratio, that also changes with the setup because as you saw today, if I can only see it moving a certain amount of handles, then I'm going to take out at that part. But if I can see it running for longer, then I'm going to take partials off. I'm going to move my stop loss to break even, and I'm going to carry the position on longer. So I'm not always directly locked in at a certain amount of handles or points. It's just depending on the setup and how far I believe price is going to run to. But as a beginner, I would have a static probably risk to reward ratio. I would be looking for, even on like, let's say ES, just looking for 5 handle runs and being done for the day. It's a really, really great start because you can find that consistency. You can find, you know, the discipline, just do that. And then if you feel more comfortable, you can open yourself up to more as time goes on. Romer, I'm with my funded futures, so I've been loving them. They're fantastic. They're a little bit newer futures prop firm, but Top Step's really good. There's a few other ones out there, but I'd say the top two is Top Step and My Funded Futures. Yeah, of course. Vincenz, I believe that's how I pronounce it. Glad to hear it. Good to have you here, man. So can we attack the buy side here? We drop down into small fair value gap there. So these last on close candles are your bullish order block. If you look at your 5 minute, didn't quite meet it. Small little fair value gap there as well. Yeah, Julian, it differs every single month, and because some months are really good, some months, you know, are not as great. You're going to see with consistent profitable traders, it's never always consistent head on every single month. I mean, some months price action is really well, and you can really push it and be excellent in those conditions. Some conditions, you know, it's consolidational that month, so you have to dial it back. I mean, again, the risk to reward ratio, the 1-to-1 or 1-to-2, it just depends on how far I can see price moving. Today I could only see it moving to the south side liquidity. I couldn't see it moving anything further than that. If I did, then I could possibly open myself up to a 1-to-2, a 1-to-3, a 1-to-4, and I'm pulling partials out, meaning if I had 3 contracts here, then I would take off 1 here, 2, 3, 4, and moving and trailing my stop loss. It's all right, Julian. Ask away. So above us, there's buy side here. And then buy side there. So we've tagged the buy side liquidity. It's already manually recorded. Hey, Danny, good to see you, brother. So can we head towards the, well, buy side was tagged there. Looks like this may be the overall draw liquidity there. So we have a macro coming up right here to here. Take it off my chart. But so look at your 5 minute. If we close, take this away. What is this? That's a breaker, right? So you'd extend out this last up close candle. What time is the macro? Don't pay attention to my time. I mean, maybe just look at my chart and look at yours. I'm in Central Time. It's from 9:50 to 10:10. A macro is a set of instructions for the algorithm to move or spool, meaning aggressively move towards a liquidity pool. Simply put, it doesn't always happen, but if you're in alignment with things, you'll see that that little 20-minute window will really move towards a drawn liquidity. You see dollar index is dropping off lower, which is good. It's a good confluence. Yeah, Romer, we'll see in the future. So now we closed above this, we can utilize that as an inversion level, this fair value gap there. If it even does drop that low, but I'm not really anticipating that. At this point, I'm fairly confident we're going to want to run for that buy side there. Look at the 1 hour. You'll see me scan back and forth through these. Yeah. So watch this breaker here, if we get down into that. Even this 2-minute in here. Right there, that fair value gap. This one right here. Let's just put this on. I'm not taking a trade because I've already done the work today. But it would go underneath that breaker. My stop loss. Be the last invalidation point. I'd be looking to target buy side here. It's like a 1-to-1 if you want to go a little bit higher. And the reason I'm doing the breaker is because that's kind of a parent PD array. It's on a 5-minute. It may want to dip into that, but I'd elect to utilize the 2-minute here. Let's see if there's indicator, Abraham, ICT higher time frame candles. So we're about to move into the macro, so I'd like to see it get above it. Do you see how I'm not taking this trade? Because I've already done my work for the day. So really this is just for like me tape reading and seeing if I would get it correct. I mean, if you guys are taking it, it's whatever. I do believe it should rally into the buy side liquidity there. Look at the 1 minute. Fair value gap there. So now we have a fair value gap underneath on the 5-minute. I'd rather that stay open. Let's just label this like a breakaway gap. Yes, I do use new week opening gaps. I just don't have the indicator on. There really wasn't. There was one in the price feed here, but I just didn't want to clutter my charts. I love new week opening gaps. Fantastic. I only trade NQ. Chris. You guys can still hear the music, right? Minute time frame looks great. No, I think ES is ES gave me PTSD from last year, being in 3-point ranges for weeks and weeks on end. I've fully am committed to NQ. She's my baby now. Elevator tunes. Yeah, I guess you could. It's super chill. I like it. Exactly, Faber. Fab her Gus, I guess. I misread that. Some people have asked me to put a camera on, but I'm not going to put a camera on. I don't think any of you need to see me. Let me know if you'd like to, I guess. I don't really think it's that important. So we're coming back down into this fair value gap there. I'd rather this be left open. I really wouldn't want to see it come back down into it. Okay, cool, Dave. Yeah, I don't think it's that important. Remember, we're inside of that macro here. Maybe I should move this here. Yeah, I'm starving. Oh yeah, I'll be here for CPI. I mean, I probably won't live stream until the open. I don't care about really trading post CPI. I'd rather let the open happen, and probably same thing, wait for the silver bullet. Just keep the rules consistent. Just because there's a news event driver doesn't change anything for me really in terms of when I'm trading. I just know there's going to be a lot of volatility pre-open. If I was in this trade, which I guess I am with you guys, I really wouldn't want to see it drop beneath this fair value gap. I'd rather see this hold and really expand away from here. I would allow it to dip into this fair value gap and the breaker, but I would need to see a sharp rejection away from it. When I first started trading, did you go through tape reading and paper trading? I'll be honest with you, no, because ICT has really leveled up his mentoring. He didn't really talk about tape reading and just, you know, paper trading. I guess paper trading a lot actually, but for me, as far as tape reading, no. When I found him, I was already about 2 years into trading, so it was one of those weird situations where I already was on the charts, just experienced with different strategies. So, you know, I was already trading live, so I guess that made it a little bit different. I do recommend it though. I think it's the best thing you could do to build good habits. I'm also looking at the 15-minute, about 3 minutes to the close. I'm just visualizing if that creates a fair value gap, I would also allow it to come into that. But best case scenario is it closes and then we just open and we don't dip back down into it. I still think everything looks great. 30-minute, 1 hour, everything looks great to me in terms of looking for higher prices. Sometimes you just have to sit through a trade a little bit longer. Exercise your patience. Just like going to the gym, just like building bigger muscles, you have to build your patience up. You have to build your discipline. Those are things that you can't just do. You have to exercise them. If you're looking at this too, it's a market maker buy model. Original consolidation. First stage distribution, second stage distribution, smart money reversal, accumulation, reaccumulation, and then we get above the original consolidation. I don't know how many people are still with us here. 135. Fantastic. If you're new here, welcome. Appreciate all of you. It's been a good time today. So look at ES. ES is nearing its buy-side liquidity pool, which is good. I'd want to see the continuation with ES. And Dow's just a little bit stagnant, but that's like the weird sister, the weird family member. Like you kind of just shun that one. But I mean, I still utilize it. Macro doing macro things. Hey, I appreciate you, Ron. I appreciate everybody being here. I love this, so. I know my old self, if I was in this trade, man, I would be, you know, fidgeting and upset, you know, trying to screaming at price. The candles have no idea. Like, ICT said this before, and I'm obviously guilty of it, but like, if you're ever just screaming at your computer, I mean, who are you screaming at? You're screaming at yourself, you're screaming at a computer monitor, pixels on a screen. When you look at it in that view, it's hilarious. I mean, I'm completely guilty of it, but I just find it hilarious. There's nothing you can do. It's just allowing, you're paying your stop loss to do its job, and you're paying your take profit. You put the trade idea on. You just have to get comfortable with the idea of, you know, if I'm wrong, it doesn't mean I suck. It doesn't mean that all the work I've done is wasted. It just means that you executed on an idea. No model's 100%. I mean, all you need is a 50% win rate. I mean, you could even do lower than 50% win rate, to be honest, and still be profitable. Do I only trade the 1 minute? I could put it in this view. For the most part, I'm entering off of a 1 minute, but I utilize every single time frame. Every single one. That's where most people get caught up. They only look at a 1 minute, but you need to look at the whole picture. You need to look at all the information. It's very, very important. So we closed above this civvy here, right? This one right there. Closure above it, utilize it as an inversion. Last down close candle, bullish order block as well. So from here, I wouldn't want to see it drop back beneath that down close candle. I really wouldn't want to see that. I would want to see just expansion away into the buy side. How many monitors do I have? I have 4 monitors. I believe I posted my setup on Twitter before. Put a 1 in the chat if you're excited for ICT's Robin Cups run this year. I'm very, very excited for it. Appreciate you, Abraham. Glad it's helping. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, it's going to be a fun year, man. I cannot wait. Yeah, Harvey's definitely doing it. And he will beat Larry Williams' record. I don't care what anybody says. Funny enough, he actually emailed Larry Williams, told him he was going to beat it, which is hilarious to me. But he said in the email that he's going to beat it, and then he's going to drop it 1% underneath his record just so Larry can keep it, which is just a level of savage that it's just crazy to me. Like, you confidently say you're going to make over 11,000% and then drop it 1% underneath it. It's just insanity, man. But I mean, if you've been trading these concepts and you know them, it's like, I have no doubt in my mind. XEEZT. That's just time and experience. That's the only way, as I just talked about, with patience and discipline. It's even your confidence it's a muscle. It's something you have to exercise it over and over and over again. It may take a lot longer than you think or you expect. Don't have unrealistic expectations when it comes to how fast you should be learning this or how fast you should be profitable. Because if you do that, then you're going to be upset when you're not making it there as quick. And it's just a false illusion that you set for yourself, right? So in here we have that bullish order block. I'm going to really look at the mean threshold. And this is to be expected with CPI ahead of us, just slow price action, not a very low resistance liquidity run type of signature. So as I talked about before with this 15-minute closing, that is the parent to the 5 and the 1 right now. So if we want to dip back down into that, or at least IOFED it, I would allow it. Joseph, I've been trading for 6 years. I've been studying ICT probably close to 4 now. Since 20, I don't know. First time I heard of ICT was 2019. I started trading in like end of 2017 going to 2018. Yep, exactly, Danny. If you guys want another fellow charter, Danny, if you want to drop your socials, he's a great guy. So us charter members, if we can give as much as we can back to the community and teach the correct things, that's really the whole point or the movement I want to make. Futures prop firms, they just have different rule sets and it's a different criteria compared to Forex prop firms. I will never master ICT's concepts. I don't think you will ever master them. I think you just become experienced in them. I mean, I'd say it'd take one full year, going through a full calendar year and seeing everything to really have a good understanding of them. And then another year of applying it. I mean, it just depends. Everybody's different. I mean, it took me 3 years to really get this down, and with ICT's concepts in general. I mean, that was on year 5, which was last year, where I was like, all right, now I finally really got it. So, I mean, everybody's different. Depends how much work you put in. Even that, it's different. I mean, now we're at the end of the silver bullet. I mean, this is taking a little bit longer than I would particularly like to be inside of a trade, to be honest. At that point, you could protect yourself by pulling off a part of the position if you wanted to reduce your risk. Whatever your style is. I mean, I still believe we're going to head for the buy side. That's the idea here. If you want to leave it, just leave it. I believe oh, I gotta continue watching. Somebody said something. Let me go back. I thought somebody asked, particularly what I trade or what my model is. I have a YouTube video over my models, but you'll see with live streams how I trade. I mean, each day there's something a little bit different, but to make it clear, I only enter off of a fair value gap. One PD array, picking one PD array with one asset class and one time zone, that's going to most definitely boost at least your profitability in my eyes. So in here, this is either an example of high resistance liquidity run where it's taking a long period of time to displace towards a buy side or sell side liquidity pool. And you have to be a little bit more patient with these than babying it. I just don't find it super favorable to be inside of something post silver bullet with CPI ahead of us. It's the reason why I didn't take it. And I've already taken a trade today. But I'm just doing it for the sake of people, if you are inside of the trade, what my thoughts would be. I'm looking at this lower for value gap, and I'm looking at that 15-minute. So really I would only want to see it dip into this 15-minute and immediately kind of reject out of here. If not, if I don't see enough evidence, I would kill the trade. I did delete the risk reward, but let's just say it's still on there. It would be underneath. If we go back out to the 5-minute, I'd be looking at this as actually kind of point of interest. I really wouldn't want to see a trade even to that mean threshold or the 50% of this breaker here. Yep, that's the title of the video is Silver Bullet. So I'm only trading in that window of time. And this is past it, right? Hey, good to see you here, Phoenix. Hope you're enjoying. Hope everything is good. So that was the trade today. I still have confidence that we should move higher in here. If you're looking at the 1-minute dealing range from this low to that high there, dropping down into optimal trade entry, fair value gap here plus the breaker. 15-minute here to a 30-minute. I feel like I have to keep reiterating this over and over again. This is the type of price action that you're gonna have to expect going into a day before a major economic news driver event like CPI. Like this, I would have been out of the trade, to be honest with you. I wouldn't want to keep this on. So I guess a few things that you could kind of note is how long it was taking to displace away from that PD array. It's taking a long period of time. There was a, if you look at, oh, where'd it go? If you look at this high here, NQ made a higher high. ES failed to make a higher high. Same with YM, so it's a bearish SMT. There's a lot of things, like I said, I've mentioned that trade was not a high probability one to be taking. So I think that's really going to be it. I don't want to stay on here too long. I mean, if any of you guys got any more questions, I've already been on here for I think like 2 hours or something. 162. It's good. I appreciate all you guys being on here. If you're new, stay tuned. I'll be doing these basically every single day for the most part. Daily logs are posted every single night, so doing a review over price. I'm doing some teachings and expectations for the day ahead. Let me check the chat one more time. Yeah, I could, Harvey, but the issue is I don't want to take up too much of the screen for purposes of like the viewers, because if it's too cluttered, I don't I don't personally like that. That's the reason why even with these live streams, you should be having everything opened on your own. Just so you are doing the work as well. You know, if I tell you, look at this, look at that, you're going into your own charts, you're looking at it. But I do understand, you know, for some people. Yeah, appreciate all you guys. Yes, I start in the AM session about 10 minutes before the open every day. It's been great. Yep. Alright, well, that's going to be the end of the stream. I appreciate all you guys being in here. Turn on the notifications, give me a follow on YouTube and Twitter. Really appreciate it. Until tomorrow, good luck and good trading, everybody. Be safe.